Good morning, YouTubers. Tsquare here with Tsquare Talk. Have I got an awesome surprise for you guys today? Today we're going to be making up a classic Mexican dish. This is menudo. It's great on a cold fall day or a winter day. It's just delicious. Everybody loves it. Nothing warms you up faster. So everybody thinks this is a super hard recipe to make. It's not hard at all. We're going to make this up. I'm going to show you guys how. If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our great recipes. And let's get started. So I'm coming over here right now to my favorite meat market store. I love this place. This place has literally everything that I need. This place is great. Everybody uses this place if you're in Corpus Christi at least. So let's go ahead and go in and get our stuff, make some menudo. So we are at the meat market right now, where I'm going to try to find some tripe. I know they got some here. This is where everybody comes to get what they need for whatever recipes they're cooking. I always come here whenever I'm doing some exotic recipe or need some good meat. But I'm just looking for it right now. Kind of showing you guys as I'm walking around. They got a lot of cool stuff. I keep saying one of these days I want to cook one of these sausages right here. They're like literally 3.5, 4 feet long. I do my own bacon wraps though. And there it is right there. Now there are two different kinds. If you get the honeycomb, it's more expensive. As you can see, it's $3.79 a pound. However, there's supposedly less fat in it. However, I'm going to be buying the $2.59. There'll be a little more fat. And then I'm going to end up putting some pig's feet in there too. I don't really read some of these. I just know by looks what I'm looking at. So I already picked up my pig's feet though. So let's go ahead and we'll get probably 10 pounds of this right here. Now you will need some hominy if you are making menudo. I always buy these big cans like this. I'll probably do one white and one yellow. Here they just have the white. It's not a bad deal too. For $2.99 you get a huge number 10 can. I wouldn't recommend buying little cans. The first time I ever made this, I bought like little cans, and you'd spend a fortune at one can a piece. So $2.99, just get the biggest one. And now to save some time, I'm just going to use regular menudo mix. Some people will actually make their own seasoning. But to save time, I'm just going to use some of this. I actually have a bunch at my house because I always buy the huge containers, but it makes it a whole lot easier. So I just walked out. I ended up getting 10.5 pounds at $2.59 a pound, about 27 bucks there. Got a $3 can of the hominy. This is the white one. I actually have another can of the yellow one that I already picked up somewhere else. So let's go ahead and get home and start cooking it up. Okay, so I am back home right now with my 10 pounds of tripe. Now the first thing I like to do, this is a step that I do. Not everybody, it's not necessary. For some people say you don't have to rinse it off, it's already clean. I like to rinse mine off. I have a huge pot of water here that I'm about ready to cook. I'm going to make a big pot of this. So I already put a little water in the bottom. I'm heating it up right now. Just getting it warm. I'm going to dump all of the tripe in there, swish it around. Then I'm going to dump it in the sink and leave drain it in the sink and leave the tripe in the pot. Then I'm going to rinse it a little bit more. Then I'm going to fill a good amount of water, and then I'm going to start boiling it. When you cook the tripe, it's going to take a long time to cook. We're going to go through it. It's going to be a little faster for you because you're not going to watch the whole 8 hours. If you have extra water, there's not a set amount of water that you have to put in. If you have more water, you're just going to need more seasoning, and you're just going to have more of the broth, essentially. If you like your soup really thick, your menudo really thick, then you're just going to have less water. But keep in mind, a lot of the water is going to steam away, and you'll see that once we get going. So let's get that poured in here and get it cleaned up. Now, this is the menudo mix that I use. It's the spice mix. You're going to use a lot of this. Like I said, I'm cooking a big batch. So, and you can actually make this in a crock pot. If you're not making enough for, 10, 15 people, if you're just making enough for maybe your little family, 2, 3, 4, you can do this in a crock pot. I may do a video on that, how to do it in a crock pot, because it's really easy if you do it in a crock pot. You can actually put it in overnight and just leave it in there all night and then have it ready the next day. So, but let's get started. Now, as this cooks, you'll start noticing the layers. These ones right here are square. If you do buy this uncut, go ahead and make sure that you cut this up into squares or pieces that are semi bite-sized. You don't want to have like a whole piece. And then you need a knife to, I have seen that before at restaurants where they use big chunks, and basically you need a knife to cut it up. As these cook though, you can see this will start separating out like that, and then they'll make them more smaller pieces. So I'm just kind of switching them around a little bit. The water's already warm, and then I'll drain this out and clean it a couple times. So see, as the water comes out, how it's a little bit cleaner. I kind of like that. When you first pour this stuff in, the water might look a little dirty. I like to see clean water coming out before I am happy with it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to fill this, put some water in here, get it filled up, and then put it on the burner. Okay, so once you get it in there, the water may still look a little bit like there's stuff floating. That's just little pieces that as you were filling it broke off the tripe and it's floating in there. There's nothing wrong with that though. I just like a cleaner water when I do this. I know it doesn't look that great right now, but it will once we get going. So we got the temp on high, and it's going to take a while to get this going. So we'll pop back in a couple times. And as soon as it heats up a little bit to where it gets to where it's starting to boil, I'll start throwing some of this in here, just so that way it can kind of cook with the seasoning in the water. Now, we're not going to add the pig's feet in right now. We're going to actually add that in at a later time, because the pig's feet will take less time than the tripe to cook. So I'll go ahead and put that in there a little later. So I'll see you guys back in a little bit. Okay, so it's starting to boil a little bit. I'm going to let it simmer for a while. I'm going to continue stirring it. Yeah, the heat is centralized right in the middle. It just started, so I'm going to get the spice in there, and we'll get that added, and that way the water will get good and seasoned. That seasoning will carry right into the tripe. Okay, now one thing to mention, I'm not measuring out. There's no, in my opinion, it's not an exact science. Seasoning is for taste. So we're going to do that. We'll get that in, and then we'll see. I like it red. I go to some places, you can barely even see that. My lens is going to fog up if I get too close. So just put in a bunch of seasoning. Like I said, a lot of the seasoning's going to get absorbed into the meat, and a lot of the water is going to evaporate out. You can see the steam just coming out of here fast. Now, I was reading the container. I'm going to show you guys here real quick. I do like they put the recipe on the back of the container, the spice container. However, one thing that I disagree with, I cook mine a little longer than 3 hours. I let it simmer for a while. I mean, I've never overcooked it. The meat will just fall off the bone. I say the bone because I haven't put in the pig's feet yet. I won't put in the pig's feet at the exact same time as the tripe. I'll put my pig's feet in about an hour after, sometimes 2 hours after. So, and then they say add a few drops of lemon juice. I'm not a big lemon fan, so I don't add a whole lot of lemon. I don't even do a few drops. I let people add that in the bowl. Once they get their soup bowl, I'll let them add that. So, but let's get this going. I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so we've been boiling the tripe now for about an hour. I say boiling, it's kind of medium heat. I keep stirring it, as you can see in there. It's starting to smell good too. My whole house is starting to smell like that. The only thing is I end up opening the door because it gets so hot inside. So with that being said, now I'm about ready to throw in the pigs. Some people say pig's feet. I'm using pig's ankles. They do call them pork hocks. However, I associate that with more of the toe. These are a little higher up than the toes because I don't like all the little bones. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these open and put them in there. So once you throw those in, I threw in 10 pounds, so that really did drop the temperature of my water. So I actually I put my burner back up to high temporarily. Just that way it will kind of hurry up and speed up the water. And we're going to leave it in there for a while, so we'll be back. Okay, so it has been about 3.5 to 4 hours. This stuff is looking delicious. Now, one thing that I want to point out, I just cut the heat off to let it kind of cool down. If you use the cheaper of the two, you're going to have more grease that will come to the top. So what I like to do is just before I add the corn or the hominy, what I'll do, I'll let it kind of cool a little bit, and I'll try to scoop off some of the top grease and fat, and just kind of scoop it away and get rid of it. Some people like it. It's not really the healthiest. Well, it's not healthy, but it does bring a lot of flavor to it. So I do like it, but you're not going to be able to get it all off anyway. So as soon as I let it cool off a little bit, you can already see that it's starting to coagulate at the top, the grease. Once I do scrape some of that off, the next thing I'm going to do is add some hominy. I got 2 cans. I may only add one. I'm going to open one, see what it looks like, and then after that, pour in one and then see if it needs more. Then I'll add the other can or half of the other can or something. I didn't mind buying 2 cans because this stuff ain't going to go bad. I mean, you can put this in your cabinet. You'll use it again. Even if you use it, I think it's got like a 2-year, yeah, it's got a 2-year shelf life. So even if you use it next year when you make some, but I'll make it again this year. So let's get started. I'm going to wait for it to coagulate a little bit and then throw that in there. Now, one thing to know, if you are doing the Atkins diet, right now everything is pretty well cooked in there. So I separated some out for somebody that's on the Atkins diet. One thing to know, if you are on the Atkins diet, you don't want to use these. But I'm making it for a bunch of people. One of the individuals is doing the keto, basically no carbs. So I separated some out for him, and then I'll end up putting the corn in there, the hominy in there, and we'll keep going forward. And there's the corn, or the hummus. I always say corn, I apologize for that. So we're going to leave this in. We're going to get this heated up, get that corn seasoned up, because that will, or that hominy will absorb in that flavor. And if we need to, we can always add a little bit more water if it's too spicy, but I don't think it's going to be too spicy. I think it's going to be perfect, to be honest. I might even add a little bit more of that corn in there. That's not much corn when I'm looking at it. So I'm actually going to add the second can in. So now we're adding in some yellow. I'm not putting it all in because I'm going to take out some of this liquid. I got one friend, this is kind of crazy. He He loves menudo, but he don't like the tripe. So I told him I'm going to actually do something a little different. I'm going to actually put a little bit of the broth, I guess you would call it, into a second pan. And I'm going to simmer it with just some hominy in there. And that way he'll just have the juice and the hominy. And that's how he likes it. He won't eat the meat just because of the thought of what it is. So for those of you that don't know, tripe is basically intestines or a stomach lining. So some people don't like the concept of that. But it is really good. So let's get this stirred in and see how it comes out. And there it is, the finished product. Once I get that in a bowl, I'm going to leave it and let it simmer for a little while. But once I get that in a bowl, I will show you guys the finished product. It's already delicious. I've already been having a little bit, sampling it. And also, I also have a second one going over here. See if we can kind of zoom in there and see it a little bit. So this one right here, the reason that one looks a little different is because there is no tripe in it. It's all just the hominy and the juice. Now I did use the actual juice that the meat was boiled in because you want that grease. I mean, I hate to say it, that grease does contribute to the flavor. However, some people just don't like the texture of the meat. So with that being said, I made him up a special batch. But this is the one that I can't wait to get into. Look at this. Wow, that looks so good. So I'll see you guys and show you guys the finished product. Now, if you guys did enjoy this video, please drop me a like, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. We do a lot of different types of videos. We do some cooking, we do homesteading videos, prepping videos, investing videos. We do a lot of different stuff, so definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you don't miss any of our videos. And I hope to see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Take care, guys. I can't wait to get this plated up. It's going to be delicious. And there it is, guys, the finished product. I am ready to eat some menudo. If you guys enjoy this recipe, please hit that thumbs up button. Please hit that like. I love hearing what you guys got to say. If you try this out, I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. Cold day, not much better than menudo. So I'll see you guys next time on T-Square Talk. Thanks for watching, guys.